Hello, I'm here to talk about multi-channel Leslies because I get questions about them. So I thought I'd make a video that could just direct people to the video that should answer their questions. So, what is a multi-channel Leslie? These Leslies were introduced so that certain sounds from the organ weren't put through the spinning speakers, including in some cases what we call flutes or the higher tones. They get a little garbled, but that garbling of high tones and creation of new overtones, that is like what we love about Leslie. But if you're playing Bach, you don't want new overtones being created, so I can understand that for church organists and classical music, organists, there was a need for this, a Leslie speaker that would only tremolo some of the sounds. So that was the very basic dual channel Leslie, and they're usually not for Hammond organs. The earliest ones were for Lowrey or Kahn organs, and Hammond's just had one output. But then Hammond later went to doing some strange organs with multiple outputs, including 2 and 3 outputs. Now, when we say the organ has multiple outputs and the Leslie has multiple inputs, the situation was that is the inputs is not like if Leslie has 2 inputs, it's not stereo left and right. It's 2 distinctly different inputs that control different speakers in the cabinet. Unfortunately, you can't just ignore the secondary input. If you say, like, I just want the spinning part, I don't want the stationary part, well, sometimes the stationary is the secondary input, and you can just disable it by yanking out the tubes in that channel or disconnecting, but you do it to somehow disable it, because if you just have nothing plugged into it, it hums and does weird things. But, so these can be modified sometimes just to do away with the secondary channel. In that case, it's alright, but the most popular ones tend to be the 700, 710, there's a 720 and a 740 that I know of that have multiple inputs, and I see I'm face palming here just thinking about it, that go to different parts of the speaker. It's not necessarily stationary, or it's not necessarily bass or middle or high. It's just different speakers throughout that do different things, and it becomes necessary to use them all to get all the spinning parts spinning, or all the Leslie-ness out of the Leslie. So the first piece of advice is, if you have a choice of whether to get a multi-channel Leslie or a single-channel Leslie, always choose the single-channel Leslie, because in today's world where we're using this for an effect, you want to maximize the effect. Secondly, in some cases, you'll have an ability to disable the secondary channel. You should probably do that. Thirdly, if you do have a 2-channel Leslie, it's possible to preamp for that easily, because what I do for that is I use a mini mixer, and I pan one all the way to the left and one all the way to the right. There's another video on this channel that says how to do that. And then all you have to do is kind of cut down on the low end, go into the stationary channel, and balance them in a way that sounds good, and you should be all right. But when you have a 3-channel Leslie input and you don't have the 3-channel organ that went with it, that becomes more difficult for sure, because like I said, those 3 channels don't necessarily conform to low, middle, high, or left or right. And so you kind of have to preamp for all of them. Or start getting in there and deleting features from the speaker. And then preamping 3 channels becomes not so easy, because it's not just using the left and right of a mini mixer. It's using additional separate preamps, or it just gets harder. And especially if someone wants to do this for guitar. So if it's a speaker that you own that has 3 inputs, then figure it out. It's not going to be easy, but it can be figured out. But if you're looking to buy a Leslie, stay away from the 3-channel ones unless you have an organ that needs the 3 channels. The 2 channels, they're less than ideal for sure, but you can make them work. Through either disabling the secondary channel or minimizing its use, because like I was saying, you want the Leslie to be a maximum Leslie thing, and when you have a stationary speaker combined with that, sometimes that doesn't kind of takes away from the effect of it. And so the 3 channels, trying to stay away from 2 channels. Also, there's this thing called the Trek 2 crossover. It's the cheapest thing Trek 2 makes, and it kind of automatically, it lets you use one input for both sides by kind of joining them together on the inside and just taking out the low end in one channel. Like I said, they cost under $100 at the time of this taping, and it might be an easy solution for you if you really want to behave like a 1-channel Leslie. That's for the like the 710 kind of thing. So that's my little rap about multi-channel Leslies. They're not evil, but if you have a choice, go for the traditional Leslies, go for the single-channel Leslies, especially if you're a guitarist, because it gets even more complicated. If you're a keyboardist, then you might find a reason to want your signals separated out like that, like your flute sounds, and a lot of keyboards have a bunch of sends, and or if you're using some kind of hardware based thing, a software, hardware, an interface essentially that has multiple outputs. You can make it work that way. However, not simple. Thanks for watching, and I hope that was helpful. And there's other videos here on this channel about some Leslie stuff, so you can check that out. And we'll see you soon.